to manifest the life of your dreams, in order to manifest anything, your career, relationships, anything, you have to use your imagination. You have to imagine it. So Henry Ford, right, once said that if it were left up to the people, they would have asked for faster horses. Okay, but he used his imagination. He was not satisfied with what he got from his engineers, so he kept sending them back, sending them back. Pretty soon, they came up with the invention. They came up with the Model T. So, we see imagination at play in many things. Now, a lot of people don't know how to use their imagination. A lot of people don't have vivid imaginations. And I was surprised to learn this. This is actual statistic. And there's numbers that back this thing up. But good morning. Morning, Jay. And we're live, by the way, on 7 platforms worldwide. We're on Trovo, YouTube, 2 platforms on Facebook, TikTok, and and Twitch. Twitch. There we go. Okay. So, but when you use your imagination, right? Imagination is part of the creative process. It's part of the manifestation process. So, part of your imagination and part of the manifestation process is to put these ideas into your subconscious so that the subconscious and superconscious can work on it. Okay, now how does that happen? Well, first you put beliefs into your subconscious. So let's look at the tree again. Let's talk about the tree, all right? We keep talking about it. So the roots of the tree are your beliefs, what you believe to be true. Now, some people believe in God, some people don't believe in God. And some people say that whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, either way, you're a believer. Think about it. So the roots of the tree, okay, is your subconscious. Now, these are your beliefs that you have installed or have been installed for you. The ones that have been installed for you happen between birth and 7 years old, and then you can install other beliefs. And as you grow and as you experience things and as you see things, you begin to believe certain things. These are beliefs that are going into your subconscious. Now, subconscious again is not just a frame of mind or a state of mind. It's actually all your senses. In the spiritual sense, it's all of your senses. So when you think about it, it's everything you see, everything you touch, everything you feel, all of your senses. And they all work together and it all goes into your subconscious. Now, the subconscious works with the superconscious, or God, if you will. So you can say God, you could say superconscious, you can say, you can put any of those labels on it. Infinite intelligence, it's all of that. But that's what it is. And that works with the subconscious. So how is it that you can write it, speak it, think it, and live it? Well, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Now, when you do these things targeted at one thing, it has to happen. It has to happen. Okay, so as long as you don't use any negatives in your affirmations, as long as you leave negatives out of the picture, okay? But the toughest part is avoiding doubt and fear, because most people doubt. We have been taught to doubt ourselves. We have been taught to doubt ourselves through school. Okay, we have been taught to doubt ourselves in the community. Okay, we have a societal hypnosis going on. Okay, have you seen people at the stoplights? They're like this. They're like that, waiting for the light to change. They're just staring at the light, waiting for it to change. Okay, it's very mechanical. It's a hypnosis. Why? Because you've been taught you stop at red, you go at green. And people are just they get into this mechanical hypnosis kind of thing. It's the same thing with repetition of anything. Okay, so it's subconscious. It's all subconscious. Now, if you want to change those things, let's say you want to become more self-aware. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Now, the strongest that affects the subconscious is visualization. Okay, visuals. So you have YouTube. You have we're on YouTube right now. Right? You have YouTube. You have TikTok. You have all these things that you can work with in the positive if you want to. Okay. Now there's something called Mind Movies. I'll recommend them. They're on YouTube. Go search them out. Okay, Mind Movies. And what Mind Movies does is it plays like a movie. It you create your own movie, and you watch this mind movie every day. And as you watch the mind movie, right, your mind, right, is focused on the mind movie. Now you start to feel it. Now you start to imagine it, right? And pretty soon, before you know it, you're doing what you saw on the mind movie. Okay, so sometimes it's travel, sometimes it's a profession, whatever it is. But they make these mind movies because visualization is the most powerful. Now, what I do, the way I use visualization, I use a gratitude board like this. Okay, these are things I have, and then there's there's also like this where I use it for things that I'm trying to target my subconscious at. Okay, and what it does is it tells your subconscious this is where we're going, this is the target, this is what we're doing, and your subconscious is like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, so what is conducive to your goal? Well, your subconscious will give you inspired thought. Okay, you'll get inspired thought. Inspired thought comes from the superconscious to the subconscious. Your subconscious will start leading you in baby steps to your goal. You'll get intuitive thought like, well, maybe you should save some money. Well, maybe you should get an extra job. Maybe you should do a side hustle. Maybe you should, whatever, right? But it will give you ideas conducive to your goal. But when you target your mind at something, okay, when your subconscious is like, okay, that's what we're doing, okay, now everything is relative and related to your goal. So you can call it goal setting, you could call it manifestation, but that's what it is. Now, I work with what I call high-powered professionals. And these people have high-powered careers because they're very stressful careers. They're very, I want to say, very, very stressful, high-powered jobs. And these professionals, right, that I work with them, work-life balance is a big thing. Okay, study is a big thing. Keeping up on the spiritual side of life is a big thing, and so I work with them with that. And what we have found is that a lot of times when you focus on goal setting, right, it feels like a job. It's like goals, oh. But when you say manifestation, now everybody goes, wow, manifestation, yeah, because it has a little, right, little mystical thing to it. It's not mystical. When I watched The Secret by Rhonda Byrne back in 2007, I was amazed at what I saw. And then, of course, my friends that I went to church with was telling me, "Oh no, that's demonic. You're not supposed to believe that. That's demonic." And I'm like, "Demonic?" So, and they were, under the understanding that it was some kind of magic or some kind of voodoo or evil spirits kind of thing. I'm like, no, it's the subconscious, but they don't tell you it's the subconscious. At certain points of Rhonda Byrne's presentation, she does mention the subconscious, but it's mostly labeled as manifestation, but it's the same thing, okay? And it's Sunday. Happy Sunday to all my Christians out there. If you want to look at the law of attraction in the Bible, Mark 11:24, okay? Ask, believe, receive. Check it out. Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Why is that? Because whatever you think is what you start to believe, right? A belief is a thought you keep thinking. And the more you keep thinking these thoughts, and the more you install this belief in your subconscious takes you in baby steps towards your goal. You start getting intuitive thought. Your mind is targeted at something. Now, if you don't target your mind at something, if you don't occupy your mind, the old expression, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And I truly believe that because your mind will start attacking you. Okay, so you need to keep it busy. Now, I have ADHD and I have to keep my mind busy. It's just the rules of the game for me, but I have to do it. So I'm constantly working on things. But I'm here to tell you that if you want to manifest things, it starts with the beliefs, right? The roots of the tree. Then it forms the paradigm or the trunk of the tree. Then the fruits of the tree up here are your actions, and your actions produce results. So when your actions produce results, what happens? Well, good actions, good result. So it all starts with the subconscious beliefs. Okay, so it matters what you watch. It matters what you do, what you hear, what you say. Okay, your subconscious does not know the difference between you talking about somebody else or yourself. It can't distinguish that. The subconscious cannot judge. It doesn't know fantasy from reality. It doesn't know if you're getting a bill or if you're receiving a check. It doesn't know. So you can play games with the subconscious, and you can convince your subconscious that you're always getting money in. You can get in the habit of receiving money. Okay, now you can also get in the habit of pushing it away. Now, how does that happen? Well, doubt and fear will do that. Okay, so if a thought is, well, I enjoy money, right? But then on the other hand, right, you're doubting yourself. Well, I enjoy money, but yeah, I probably won't get any money. You see what I'm saying? Then you just like cancel it out and push it away. Now we're human beings. We go back and forth. Like I was telling you yesterday, we go back and forth, right? So we have good thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts, right? Because we're humans, okay? But you only need to be 1% over 50%, right? 51%. Just 1% over the line into positivity, and now you have the majority positive. Okay, so it's not like you have to be perfect. It's not like you have to be, we're human beings. We're not perfect. So these things are practical to look at, and I'm trying to give you some practical information so that you can do your research and start to improve your life. So Matthew 7:7, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Okay? Because that's the way it works. That's exactly how it works. But this is action, and expectation bring manifestation. You have to expect it. Okay? So if you're constantly seeking, you're constantly finding. If you're constantly studying and constantly researching, you're going to find a whole ton of information. Now, that information can lead to new beliefs. New beliefs, new paradigm, or the way you see the world. The way you see the world dictates your actions, okay, the fruits of the tree, okay? And then your actions, the fruits of the tree, create your results. And it's that easy. But it takes a little time, and not everybody is willing to do the work. So let me show you what I'm talking about. How do you start this thing, Uncle? Okay, so you start by affirmations, okay? And, I'm going to give you a simple affirmation that you can write. Okay, now, the core of my training is confidence. The core of my training has always been confidence. But we do it through vocalization. We do it through the human voice. And, I used to have like 7-year-old girls, like, just puffing their chest out and singing like they wanted to fight. And I was like, how come they're so confident? Like, what's doing this? So I dove down the rabbit hole in 2007, and along with watching The Secret and Rhonda Byrne, and I started to put all of this together, and I'm like, oh, okay. So now we do it for life coaching. We do it for our life coaching clients, even our CEOs, even our business people. It doesn't matter what their profession is. We do it for them, and it works. And what it does is it creates more awareness. It pulls you out of the societal hypnosis. So what's a good affirmation? I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. Okay? Confidence is when this one is clear. Confidence is what I call base level, when there's no doubting, there's no fearing. So all the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Okay, so you're talking about hesitation. When you're hesitating, a little fear involved. So at the very root of all negative emotions is fear. Okay, so confidence is the opposite, because you cannot fear if you are confident. Okay, confidence cannot live where fear is, and vice versa. So what you want to do is you want to be confident. Okay, so write, I am so happy now that I am confident. Thank you. That's your affirmation. Now, I want you to write it in the morning, and you have to be like, it has to be like when you first wake up. Okay, when you first wake up, it's good to speak of what your day is going to be like. Okay, in other words, you can speak it into existence through your subconscious. And what does that sound like? Well, that sounds like I'm gonna have a great day. As soon as I get to the office, I'm gonna make a cup of coffee, and I'm gonna blaze through my work and I'm going to be in flow state. I'm going to complete all my tasks by lunchtime. And then in the afternoon, I'm going to do some research, whatever, right? Like that. So it's very productive to tell yourself, to speak it out loud, because your subconscious needs to hear it. Okay, so the first most impressionable way is visualization. The second most impressionable way is your voice, is sound. Okay, so speak it. You have to speak it. When you're in theta state, when you first wake up, that's when your mind is the most impressionable, your subconscious is. And that's when your mind is relaxed, okay? Before you start thinking, before the pistons start firing, right? When you're nice and relaxed, that's when you want to talk about, that's when you want to speak about what your day is going to be like. So you can wish your day into existence. You can speak your day into existence, okay? A lot of people, right before they go to bed, they write about what tomorrow will be like. They write it into existence. Okay, now what is this really? This is subconscious programming. This is programming your subconscious for a successful day tomorrow. This is programming your subconscious for a good day tomorrow. Okay, now, does it take some time to get this started? Yeah, it takes a little time. Okay, so what I have my clients do is I have them write 100 positive I ams about themselves. I am helpful. I am kind. I'm courteous. I am whatever it is, right? Okay, and 100 positive I ams. It could be I am grateful. It could be I am a good brother. I'm a good sister. I'm a good father. I'm a good mother, right? It could be all of that, okay? But write 100 of them, and then I want you to speak it out loud, okay? So read it out loud to yourself. Now, these things kind of feel awkward, right? Because it's a self-empowerment if you really think about it. When is the last time somebody had you do this? When is the last time somebody had you do this exercise? Okay, there's also mirror work. Okay, so I want to describe mirror work for a little while, so we'll put this away. So do your affirmation and make sure that when you write your affirmation, it's like right when you get up, because your subconscious is listening. Okay, let's say it that way. It's listening. So go ahead and write, and then speak it out loud right before you go to bed at night. Okay, if you do that for 2 weeks, you will feel a shift in 2 weeks, and you will probably feel more of a shift right around the 2-month mark. Okay, so it takes about 60 days minimum to change a habit or to form a new habit. Okay, about 63 days, I think. So you need a couple of months to get it going, right? So I did it for a couple of months, and I told myself, well, and this was back in 2007, and I told myself, if this doesn't work, I'm never, ever, ever doing this again, right? So for me, it was an experiment, and I experimented with it, and I wrote, I am so happy and grateful, I did all of that. And then I started writing random stuff, like just random things, right? I am so happy and grateful now that I have, whatever, $100. Now I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a new pair of Nikes or whatever it was, right? And I wrote it out. And so at the 2-month mark, I went back and I read my affirmations, and I'm like, oh my God, this happened and that happened. Like, not everything happened, right? But the majority of everything happened. The majority of everything I wrote down happened. And so when I went back and looked, and I go, wow, this came out. I am blue. Good morning. Good morning. When I saw that these things happen, I'm like, okay, well, now there's something here. Now this is believable, right? And so I still write affirmations. So let me show you the one I just got done with. So this is the one that I pulled out. I'm working on this one, but this one is finished. And I made a video. It's on my TikTok. You guys on TikTok, you can look at it. Go on my wall and check it out. I have a video with 10 years of affirmations. At the 10-year mark, it's been way more than 10 now. But yeah, so these are affirmations. Okay, so you can do these. I know it looks crazy. It looked crazy, right? But would you rather that look crazy, or would you rather not get your goals and not attain your goals and not, succeed with your goals? And the other thing is that the how is always God's job. Remember, the how is always God's job. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my account right now, and I'm going to show you on my phone. I'm going to show you guys some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to show you that video with 10 years of affirmations. Now, this was way back, way back. So it's been way more than 10 years now. But this is the video that I put up, like this. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys what 12 years of affirmations look like. You know, anybody can talk the talk, but you gotta walk the walk. See, you gotta walk the walk. See, so this was the first one right here. So this one was like, yeah, like that. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys. So, and the point of this, right? The point of it, and yeah, I had orange hair and everything back then. But the point of all of this, right, is that it looks crazy. It feels crazy sometimes. You know, sometimes when you're writing every day and you're writing for these things every day. But then when you go back and check it and you go back and look and go, oh, I remember that happened. Oh, I remember this happened, right? And then you wonder, like, how does it work? So I'm here to explain the process. So the process is when you order something from your subconscious, okay? Now you could say universe if you want. You could say God if you want. Okay? God is the superconscious. Okay? The subconscious is the co-creator with the superconscious. So let's say this another way. You are a co-creator with God, and you have the ability to create. You have the ability to create your life. You have the ability to design your life. Okay, so at certain times in my life, I design my life a certain way, you know, and then I start living my life a certain way, and then I get bored, and then I design my life another way. Okay, so you can do that, and all it takes is to give your subconscious new instructions. That's all. So think of it like a computer. Okay, so your conscious mind that thinks a million thoughts a day, the frontal lobe of your brain, okay, that's like your operating system. Okay, your subconscious is like your hard drive. Okay, that's where the programs go. That's where all the programs go. Okay, you work the same way a computer does. Okay, so now you install the programs into your hard drive, your subconscious. Now your subconscious forms the way you see the way you see life, right? Your paradigm, your understanding of things, the way you look at the world, the way you look at stuff. Okay. Now I will to pay attention to your paradigm. What do you really believe, right? And what are you thinking, okay? And how are you acting? Because how you act and your actions dictate your results. If you want to take a look at your results, I mean, you know, we can take a look at the universal law of correspondence. When you look at the law of correspondence, it tells you that everything out here reflects everything in here. So look around you. Look at where you live. Look at the kind of car you drive. Look at the kind of friends you have. Look at, I mean, you know, all of those things that you have. They don't have to be material possessions. Look at the people you love. Look at the people you have fun with. Look at the kind of people you enjoy. Okay? And then look at everything in your life. Now, if you want to change any of it, you can change it. Okay? You have the power to change it. Okay? There's nothing worse than like walking around being plagued by negativity in your subconscious because it's like a movie. It's like a horror movie that keeps playing and keeps playing and keeps playing, and it torments you, right? So you want to change those with positive thinking. You want to if you want to call it positive thinking, you can call it positive thinking. You can call it positive thoughts. You can call them good thoughts, right? To replace the bad thoughts. Now you have the power to stop bad thoughts. All right. So when you start thinking a bad thought, okay, because thoughts become things. Okay, Mike Dooley. I studied under Mike Dooley. In fact, his picture is on my Facebook, on Here for You Life Coaching on Facebook. You can check it out. It was quite some time ago. But Mike Dooley says that thoughts become things. You know, that's his whole mantra. Thoughts become things. Think the good ones, right? Because thoughts install the belief in your subconscious. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Then you form your paradigm. Then you commit the actions, and then you get the results. So it's very easy to change everything by starting with affirmations. Affirmations. Now, meditation, what is that? Do we have to do some kind of Indian meditation with words we don't understand? No, not at all. Just be still. Okay? If you want something else, if you want something even better than that, do Hawaiian Ho'oponopono. Okay? It's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now just say it out loud. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now you're talking to yourself and your creator, whoever you believe that to be. Okay, but that's where everything is being directed because it's going into your subconscious. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Okay? First of all, you need to apologize. Yes, to yourself. Okay? You need to apologize to yourself. You need to forgive yourself. Okay? You need to release yourself from whatever it is that's plaguing you or bothering you or, nagging at you, that kind of thing. Okay? You need to release those things because those things become toxic. They become toxic here. The prison is here. Okay? And that's where you release it from. Now, you're not going to have like this perfect life. Life is not meant to be perfect. We're here to learn. We're here to learn lessons. We're here to overcome things. We're here to go through things, right? And at the spiritual level, right? Whatever you call this, if you call this a spirit in here, you're not your body and you're not your name. You're this in here. If you call it a spirit, if you call it energy, some people call it a soul. Some people have different labels for that. But whatever you call that, okay, that's what you have to work on. Your energy, okay, or your spirit. Now, you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in there, okay? And that energy is intelligent. Okay, I'm not talking about smart either. I'm talking about intelligent. The entire universe is intelligent. Everything, even the blades of grass, are intelligent. Plants are intelligent. Okay, so there's I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but if you haven't heard it before, know that there are some species of plants that are edible, and when their species is endangered, when they shrink in numbers, they turn poisonous. So animals and humans can't eat them, and then they turn back again. Now this is over the course of many years. Plants also communicate. Trees communicate. They communicate through the roots. So everything in the universe is intelligent. Everything communicates, but they don't communicate the same way. Okay, humans, we talk, we speak. We're God's highest creation. Okay, or however you believe, universe, higher self, infinite intelligence, all of that. Okay, but that's the bottom line is everything is intelligent. So now, how can you manifest things? How can you manifest the life of your dreams? Well, first of all, you have to have goals. You have to write it down. Okay, so write these things out. If you have a goal and you want a new car, write it out. Okay, write your affirmation down. Make a list of things you want to accomplish and cross them off as you manifest them. Or let's say it another way, cross off your goals once you attain them. So, good morning, Ariel. Good morning. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me things. So in the subconscious, right? Your subconscious, there's no judgment. Okay, good morning. Good morning. There's no judgment. So your subconscious does not know fantasy from reality. And this is where your imagination comes in. Now, if you're going to imagine something, is it just going to pop up in your driveway like a new car or something, like right in your driveway? No, of course not. The reality is you're going to have pathways to your goal. And the pathways will be made if you install these beliefs in your subconscious. Okay, so let me give you an idea. Let's say you're on a diet, and let's say your target weight is 175 pounds, and let's say you weigh 200 pounds. Now your target weight is 175. Okay, I've been through this because I've had to lose weight. I've been on diets. So what you do is you write, I am so happy and grateful now that I weigh 175 pounds. Thank you. That's your target weight. Okay. Now, if you start writing this, in 2 weeks, you'll feel a shift. Okay. And what I mean by a shift is you'll start feeling like, yeah, I'm on my way. Yeah, it feels good. It feels good to be 175 pounds. Like, you have to make it your reality. Okay, a belief is a thought you keep thinking, so you need to keep thinking about it. You need to keep entertaining that idea. Now, as you do your affirmations and you feel the shift around 2 weeks and you go to the party, right, on the weekend, and there's a dessert table and there's cakes and cookies and pie and all of that, right? You see the dessert table. You go near the dessert table and you look at it and your subconscious goes, hey, we're on a diet, right? We're 175, right? Okay, that's how it works. And you're going to stop and you're going to look at it and you're going to go, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, 175, that's the target. This is not conducive to 175. This dessert table is not conducive to my goals, right? You always have a choice. You always have a choice. We have free will as human beings. So you always have a choice to choose. Now, you can choose good or you can choose bad. You know, when people tell me they're sick, you know, we talked about illness the other day. Yesterday, we talked about mental health. It's Mental Health Month, by the way, May. So we'd like to, acknowledge that. And those of you that have any mental health related questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. But and those of you on Facebook, put it in that chat, and I'll answer on Facebook later. So anyway, so yeah, how does health play into this? Well, you have to have a paradigm where you believe that you're healthy. Okay, it starts here, and the prison is here. Okay, the prison is here as well. You always have a choice. You can choose better. People tell me, oh, well, I'm sick. The first question I ask is, what are you eating? That's my first question. You know, when somebody's sick all the time, it's a habit. It's a subconscious habit. They get in the habit of being sick. Okay, now I'm in the habit of staying well. And it takes a little for me to stay well, right? When I have herbs that I take when I first sense a cold coming on or something like that, and I can't even remember the last time I was sick. Okay, a lot of my clients go, "Wow, you never have any sick days. You're always working." I'm like, "Yeah, that's my paradigm. That's what I believe." So it doesn't mean that I don't get sick, but it means that I'm more well than sick. Like I can't even remember that. I can't even tell you the last time. I think the last time I really got sick was COVID. I think that was, I got COVID the first time, the first strain, right? And then after that, there was another, I guess, 1 week where I got COVID again. But that's that was a pandemic, so that was a little different. But I'm talking about people who are always run down, people who always have colds, people who are always calling in sick to work, right? Because they're sick, right? And this is a subconscious activity. Your subconscious is memorizing you being sick all the time. It becomes a belief and it's stored in your subconscious. You want to fix it? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay? That's all it takes. You can think yourself well. You can also think yourself sick. Okay? And we discussed a little bit of this yesterday. Because there's hormones, right? There's hormones that will trigger if you think negative thoughts. Okay, adrenaline's one of them. Okay, the fight or flight thing. Okay, when you do that, it puts stress on your body physically. Where the mind goes, the body follows. Where the body goes, the mind follows. So you can lead the mind with the body, or you can lead the body with the mind. Okay, now in my training with my clients, what we do is we start with the body, we start with the physical, and the physical affects the mental. Okay, now sometimes I adjust people's body languages, okay, their body language, and when I adjust their body language, they're good to go mentally, they get confident. Okay, when you adjust your body language, you will become more confident. Okay, if you want to try something, here, I'll give you something to try. So this is straight ahead. Okay, this is a little body language for you, a little value for you. This is straight ahead, right? This is your head lifted up just a little. So start like this, straight ahead. Now lift your head up a little bit like this and hold it. Feel good? Yeah, see? Okay, so you can correct a person's body language and then they can become more confident. Okay, you can also do it the other way, where you work on their mind first, you work on their thinking first, and then they become confident with their body language. So we do it with vocalization. We do it through the human voice. When we do it through the human voice, the body language automatically corrects. It's like autocorrect. People start standing up straight. People start walking straight. Body language automatically corrects. Okay, so you can correct body language through proper thinking, through affirmations to meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Okay, these are all tools that you can use. Now, how does the meditation work? Well, you can do the whole Ho'oponopono like we described, right? But the meditation is also a state of listening. Prayer is a state of asking. So when you're praying, when you're intending, you're asking. When you're wishing, you're asking. You know, people walk around, oh, I wish I had that. Oh, I wish I had this. I wish I had it. And pretty soon, guess what? They have it. Why? Because they were wishing for it. And they're human beings. And they bring it into their universe, into their world. They bring it into reality. If you speak it often enough, you will believe it. When you start believing it, it will materialize because you will get instructions step by step on how to achieve it. Now, you don't have to pay attention to it. You don't have to pay attention to intuitive thought, but it's there. The example that I give all the time, hey, Memphis Wayne, oh, there he goes. So the example that I give all the time, right, is when you're driving down the street and you feel you should turn right over here, and then you have free will, right? So you pass it up, you go, nah, I'll go to the next light, and then you get stuck in a traffic jam. And what do you say? You go, I knew I should have turned over there, because you did know. So it's important to pay attention to intuitive thought. Intuitive thought is very important, and it will lead you to your goals. Okay, the more you listen to that feeling that you get, the more you tune into that, the more self-aware you become, the easier your life gets. Okay, because life is very, very difficult if your subconscious is out of control, giving you negative programming, and you're just living in torment because you're being tormented by your thoughts, because you're thinking all these negative things and this could happen, that could happen. All the what ifs are rooted in fear. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? And then you're scrolling and you're, oh my God, this happened. Oh my God, that happened. Oh my God, that happened. Okay? When you're being plagued by your thoughts like that, okay, you're not going to have a good life. Okay? This is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we want to share the good news that you can remedy this stuff. Okay? Now, you don't always need, you don't always need medicine. You don't always need a doctor. Okay? Doctors help. Therapy is real. All of it's real. Okay? But you just need one of these to start. Okay? And you will feel better. Because you have to direct your mind. You have to direct your thoughts. Now, when you have a bad thought, what can you do? Okay, just say no or say stop and focus on something positive or look at something positive. Okay, so what I do is, I have my vision boards or gratitude boards, and if I have a bad thought, like if I'm starting to have a series of bad thoughts about something or, like that, I just say stop and I pick up my phone and I look at my vision board. Because this represents something I want. This represents something I like. This represents something that I enjoy. Okay? I enjoy looking at it because it's my target. Okay? So pick a target. Pick any target and look at it. Okay? Now, this could be your family on here. It doesn't have to be a material thing. It could be your spouse, and you may want to be a better husband or a better wife or a better sister or a better brother. And maybe you have family pictures on here. Okay, but use this productively because you have a subconscious. Use it for things that you like, things that you love. Focus on things you love. Don't focus on stuff you don't want. The more you focus on things you don't want, the more those things are going to happen because the focus is there. So if you're focusing on debt or you're focusing on getting out of debt, it's still debt. Okay, so you're going to stay in debt. Why? Well, because the focus is always debt. It's either getting out, working my way out of debt, or staying in whatever. But I'm just saying that's what it is. Okay, so if that's the case, then you make a payment plan with somebody or the business or whatever it is, and then let it go. Focus on abundance and focus on wealth and focus on making money and focus on working, that kind of thing. Okay, so you always have I can't get it on here. let me switch this. You always have a lock screen and you have wallpaper, right? So let me show you an idea for wallpaper that works. Okay, so this is my wallpaper. Okay, subconsciously you always see this, even though your apps are like that. Okay, your subconscious sees it. So what is the target? Well, the focus, it could represent work, because you have to work to make money, right? Now, you don't always have to work to make money. Okay, sometimes money finds you. Okay, and by the same token, if you think that money is the only way you can get something, you're suffering from limited thinking. I'm here to tell you there's tons of things that happened in my life that had nothing to do with money, but it showed up. Okay, because I applied focus to it. That's all. And you can do it too. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay? All you have to do is apply the focus. Wherever you apply focus, it intensifies. Whatever you start to concentrate on, it multiplies, it intensifies, it gets bigger, it gets better. Good evening from Bucharest, Romania. Good evening. Good evening. Hi, Anna. Thank you for dropping by. So what you really want to do is focus on good stuff. If you focus on bad stuff, you focus on, like, you worry about stuff, focus on things you don't want, things you don't like, that kind of stuff, you're going to get more of it. Okay? So distract yourself, pull yourself out of it, and start directing the focus to where it's needed. Okay? So if you need money, maybe it's a new job you need, start writing about it. Make your affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm working at XYZ company as a human resources person, whatever it is, and then write thank you. Now keep writing that. Write it every day. Okay? Your subconscious will start leading you in baby steps towards your goal. And you want to go in baby steps. You don't want to take giant leaps towards your goals. Okay? Because if you make a mistake, it's a big leap back. Okay, it's a large correction is what I mean. But if you take baby steps to your goal, it's easier. It's easier to manage. You make a mistake, oh, no problem. Take one little baby step back. There you go. Okay, so goals are very easy to attain. It's easy to build a good habit, and it's easy to build a bad habit. People are always convinced that bad habits are easier to build, right? Okay, I'm here to tell you that's not true. Okay, human beings can build good habits very quickly. Okay, the subconscious learns in repetition. Okay, so all you have to do is repeat. Now, even if you don't like something the first couple of times, when you start repeating it, your subconscious goes, oh, this is what we're doing? Okay. Your subconscious listens. It takes direction. It pays attention. And it starts to work. So what are you gonna work on? Well, these people, they sit around, they complain because they don't have money. They sit around, they complain because they don't have a job. They sit around, complain because everything's going wrong, right? But guess what happens to their subconscious? Their subconscious is listening. Now, by the same token, do you want to commiserate with somebody like that? Do you want to talk with that? In Hawaii we say talk story. Do you want to talk about that with somebody? And they're just complaining, and they're just saying a bunch of negative stuff. Your subconscious is listening. Now, that person's subconscious and your subconscious is listening to this negative conversation. Okay? It's affecting both of you. Even if you're listening to someone else complain, it's affecting both of you. Your subconscious doesn't know if it's about you or not. It just knows what it hears. So if somebody's telling you a bunch of negative stuff, or you're gossiping with somebody, right? It's affecting you too. Okay? So guard your speech and guard what you listen to. Guard what you partake in. You can speak things into existence. Okay? Give you an example. Romans 4:17. Today's Sunday for my Christians. Okay? The God who gives life to the dead and calls into being things that were not. Okay? Speaking things into existence. Can you speak it into existence like God? Oh, yeah. God is in here. God lives in here. God lives in you. Okay? If you want to say it another way, infinite intelligence lives in here, and it lives in you. And it's part of the superconscious that everyone is connected to. It's the universal law of one. Everyone is connected. So how do you speak things? How can I speak things into existence, Uncle? Keep talking about it. Okay? Keep talking about it. Good stuff. Keep talking about it. You know, I'm going to buy that car. What kind of car? Well, I'm going to buy that Cadillac. Okay. I'm going to buy that 2025 Cadillac. Okay. I'm going to buy that 2025 Cadillac from XYZ company. Okay. Keep talking about it. Keep saying, I am. I am going to buy that Cadillac. I am going to buy whatever, right? Whatever it is. But I'm just saying. So speak it. And pretty soon your subconscious will start giving you ideas. Okay, your subconscious will be like, all right, you want the Cadillac, so maybe you need an extra job, maybe you need some side money, maybe you need to do some side projects or a side hustle, maybe you need to do whatever's right. But that's what your subconscious does. It starts giving you ideas. And those ideas come from the superconscious or God, intuitive thought. Okay, it's another way of explaining it, but yeah, it's another way to say it. It's a simple way of understanding it. But that happens. Now, if you follow inspired thought concerning the subjects that you're thinking about, ask yourself a question. You're going to get answers. When you ask yourself a question, your subconscious is obligated to answer. Okay? So sit down, be still, close your eyes, and ask yourself a question. You're going to get the answer. Ask yourself if you should go out this weekend. You're going to get the answer. Okay? But do we do this? No, most of us don't. Most of us live reactionary lives. Okay? We react to everything. We just wait for something to happen and we react to it. Okay? If you're living with intention, that means you're intending things. That means you have a plan. That means you have goals. You're intending this. You're intending that. I intend to do this. I intend to do that. Then your subconscious goes, okay, well, here we go. Try this way. Try that way. You want to try this? You want to try that? Try this. Try that. Okay? And that's how you get to your goal. That's how you get where you're going. But if you have no goals, if you don't have any intention, if there's no direction to the rudder of the ship, then you'll go in circles. Or you'll just go over there, random, and live a random life. Random lives are no fun. I've lived a random life. In my 20s, everything was random in my 20s. Everything. And I had a mentor telling me, no, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I was fighting him. And I was going, no, I'm just going to do this like this. Thank you for sharing the live, Anna. Thank you. Ah, I'm talking to you, huh? Okay, great. Great. Oh, you're grateful you discovered me. I'm grateful for you too. I'm grateful for you being here. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. So, if you're not living an intentional life, if you're not living a life that you're planning these things and having goals and fulfilling these goals and desires, okay? Humans always desire, right? So give somebody a house, now they want the second house, and then the third house, and the fourth house, right? So we're human beings. We strive for more, okay? It's always about bigger, better for achievers, okay? For non-achievers or, people that achieving is not important, they won't be like that, okay? So you can be however you want. But if you're living a reactionary life that's not getting results and you want results, then you're going to have to do affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization because it's the fastest way. It's the very fastest way to manifest anything. When I put my name in a search engine, I see all the things that I was dreaming of when I was 12. And when I was 12, I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And now I look online and I'm like, wow, I did all those things. Like, it's amazing. Because I didn't have faith in myself when I started out in life. In my 20s, I had no faith in myself at all. I was living a reactionary life. I was fighting the world, that kind of thing. Okay, but as I got older, as I started learning, when I surrendered, okay, and I didn't, surrender to an army or anything like that. I surrendered. I surrendered to myself. Because God lives in here. Okay? When you surrender, okay, when you say, okay, go ahead, Lord, take over, take the wheel, then whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, will take over and show you. Your subconscious will show you. But your subconscious only shows you based upon what you believe to be true. So if you don't have, the core beliefs that you need to work your way up the tree to the fruits that are your actions that produce the results, then you got to change the beliefs. Then you have to install new beliefs. Now you can only do about maybe 15%, 20%, maybe if you're lucky. Okay, but that's all that's needed. Okay, to live a really abundant and joyful life, you just have to do 51% positive. That's it, because that's the majority. If you go 51% positive in your life, you just pull it over the line, 1%. Now the majority of your life is positive. That's all. You don't need to break your back, or you don't need to do anything crazy. You don't need to do anything outrageous, okay? But I'm here to tell you, if you do that and you maintain that, okay, maintaining is probably the hardest part, because it's very tempting to go back and forth, right? We go back and forth all the time, but I'm saying, like, to go back to 50%, and then, now you're 50% positive, 50% negative. Keeping that 1% is a job, okay? Pulling it over the line by 1% and keeping it there is a job. It takes a little effort, okay? But it doesn't take a lot of effort. It takes a little effort. It's not that hard to do, okay? When I started to do it, I thought, oh boy, this is hard. This is going to be a job, right? And then as I did it, guess what? My body learned to do it better than me. Or let's say it another way, my subconscious took over and started to create these actions based upon the new beliefs that I had, right? It started to create these little pathways to my goals. And it allowed me to do things. And it allowed me to, actually realize the things that I was just dreaming about. I just had ideas about. I just had in my imagination. And then my imagination went all out here. And this is the law of correspondence. Everything that's in here goes out here. So look at your results. If you're not happy with your results, know that you can change them. It's very easy to change. Very easy to change your results, okay? And they become habits very quickly. When you write affirmations, pretty soon it becomes a habit. Pretty soon you do it every day. And then you start getting results. And then what do? You go, well, let me write more affirmations for different things. And then you keep going. And then you go, well, if it worked for the car and it worked for the house, maybe it worked for a business. And then you start writing for a business, then you get a business. But you have to think it, write it, and speak it into existence. Because once it's in your subconscious will, hey, how about doing this to get there? How about doing this to get there? How about doing that to get there? How about doing that to get there? Is your bank account going to fill up with $1 million overnight and all of that? No. That's not the way it works. The way it works in my life is when I need something, things show up. And I mean, like, everything. I'm talking about everything. Everything I'm interested in shows up. It just works that way. That's how desires work. Okay? And that's why, holy books will tell you to be careful what you desire. Okay? Be careful what you wish for, because you'll get it. If you keep wishing, you'll get it. Okay? When you write affirmations and you write affirmations for something, you'll get it. You may not get it the way you think. And sometimes, if you're not aware, When you get it, sometimes you're not even aware you're getting it or that you have it because it didn't come the way that you planned. Okay, but you get it the way God planned or the way infinite intelligence plans. The how is always God's job. So remember that. The how is always God's job. It's not your job, it's God's job. Does that mean you don't have to plan? Oh, you could plan if you want to. I stopped planning like 20 years ago. I stopped planning. And the reason I stopped planning is because every time I made a detailed plan, okay, we're going to do this, then this, then this, then this. You know, sometimes I get to the first step, then the second step, the third step goes all the way to left field and I get my goal. And I had like 4 steps left. And I'm like, whoa, how did that happen? But the how is God's job. The how is always God's job. If you let God do the how, don't focus on the how. Just focus on the what, focus on the why. What am I doing? What do I want? Why? Why do I want it? And if you really want to get something out of life, right, the fastest way is to help somebody else get what they want first. If you want love, give love first. If you want money, give money first. Whatever you want in life, give it first. Because when you give, you get. Guarantee you cannot give and not get. It's impossible. So be generous. Be generous. Give your time. I give tons of time to people, tons of time. When you give your time, you give your life. So give a lot of time, okay? Because that's your most precious resource. You can't get that back, but you can invest it. And when you invest it, it shows up in other places. When you invest your time in someone, that person becomes better. That person becomes more knowledgeable. That person shares that knowledge. So if you think it's just a transfer from you to someone else, it goes farther than that. And it goes up into the superconscious consciousness. Okay, everything we do is going up into consciousness like that. Okay, and it comes back down. And it comes back down in other human beings. It's about the species. It's about humans, Homo sapiens as a species. So it works. The next time you want something, give it first. Whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is. Give it first. Don't be afraid to give. Okay? In Hawaii, it's part of our culture. We give. We give a lot. People in Hawaii give so much to charity. Charity is a huge business. Don't get me started on local charities. But yeah, if you want something, give it first, okay? And yeah. El Delion, hi, hi El, hi, good morning. Sorry, I messed up your name. Delion, is that it? 22. All right. Good morning. All right. So that concludes another exciting episode. Okay, but just remember, you have the power. You are a co-creator, and the creator lives in here. Okay, the creator is not up there. Okay, it's not separate from you. It's in you. It's part of you. You have the power to be sick. You have the power to be well. You have the power to be wealthy. You have the power to be poor. You have the power to be anything. But you need to decide what you want to be, okay? And if you're not liking the results, okay, if you don't like what you see around you, because it all came from here, okay, decisions that you've made, it all came from here, okay, everything out here. If you don't like this, just change this, okay? It's all subconscious. And you can go to the website hereforyoulifecoaching.com and you can write to me at junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com and you can ask me questions and I'll answer you, okay? This is my public service and I need to jump because I need to go see clients now. I have clients all day today, but you guys were very important, so you guys came first. So I shall see you tomorrow morning again at 7 a.m. We do 7 at 7. We're on 7 platforms worldwide at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. So yeah, join us tomorrow.